Okay, we are live. Let's go ahead and give it a few minutes just to get it all rolling and get it started, get a sound check. And I'm going to start setting everything up on my end because we're about to have some divine design fun. All right, just turn that down. Okay, my tester iPad right here. Make sure we're seeing everything right. And I believe we are. So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to be diving right into it tonight because we got a lot to design. We got a lot to work on. This is part two of a three-part series. And I'm ready to just geek out, to go in, create a high fidelity mock-up, and show you one of the most valuable exercises I was taught to do early on when I was learning web design and learning web development. All right, let's see here. I'm going to pull up the chat. Let's keep that open. All right, whenever you drop in, let me know where you're at. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Everything sounds good. Dope. I'm going to move this over here. And we are going to get started. I'm going to pull up Figma right now. We're just going to jump in there. Let's see what's cracking. What's cracking. All right. New setup. We're trying some different things out. And just a heads up, all right, we got a three-part series on this one. This is part two. After this one, I got another one coming up, and this one's going to be quite exciting. I've decided to do the rebranding and redesigning of Lytbox live, to do it and share it with you all. So that is coming up very, very soon. I'm going to show the whole process that goes into the rebranding. And I kind of want to pull back the curtains on everything and show what really happens. How does it really go? Because I know a lot of us try to build our own websites, and we could be our worst clients as well. And it's important, though, when we are running our web design business, that we are constantly trying to look to rebrand, reposition, improve our own websites and our own platform. So that's coming up next. Let me know if you want to see that, though. Also, I want to hear, like, if that sparks some interest. What's up, Reno? What's up, big dog? So good to see you here. All right, I'm about to just hit up the chat. I'm going to keep my eye on it. Let's see here. I don't think I could pin chats. That's the only thing about this platform right here. Well, it's all good. As you go in, if you do have any questions, make sure to put like a Q question. That way, when I go through all the chats and take breaks in between my design session, I can make sure I could answer all your questions. It's the reason why we do these live streams. That way we could connect. That way you could get, you could ask me anything directly. And I really just want to connect with everyone and be able to support and help. And, honestly, this helps us all. Like, we learn and grow together. I truly believe that. One of the reasons why I started creating content and I still do stuff and I still teach is because when you teach, you actually learn. And I love to be in the process of learning and developing skills. Okay, so let me go ahead and share screen. That way I could break down exactly where we're at and what we are doing right now. So let me see, get this screen to share. Oh, why is it doing that? I think I need to change something. Okay, there we go. Okay, that should be good right about there. All right, that's cool. That's cool. So, what we are doing in this design exercise, we are replicating a design high fidelity and turning a high fidelity mockup, creating a high fidelity mockup from a live website. When I started off in development, learning code, my first mentor and teacher taught me to find a template that I really liked on Theme Forest. He said, pick one and then code it out by scratch. Learn how to recreate that with just pure HTML and CSS. Not like the template part, but like what we see in the front end. Create that landing page and not just create it and build it out, but get those little tiny details. Like, look at what the spacing is like. Look what the padding is like. Look at all the little tiny things that goes into it. Like right over here, what goes in between the header and the text? What goes in between the text and the promo video here in the banner? What is the width of the text? What goes in between? What are the values in between the menu items? What's the spacing between the menu and the logo? It's all these little tiny details that we need to focus on and try to get done as best as possible. I was a terrible designer when I started off. Now, I didn't get my first computer and even learn how to use a computer until 9 years ago. And that's because I spent, from 24 to 34 homeless, where I had no technology. I did not know what was going on. So all this stuff was brand new to me. And when I started design and building websites, I did not have a design eye. It did not come naturally to me. But this technique right here, this exercise, it taught me how to look for details and how to develop a design eye. Then later on, I got a design mentor when I started getting more into web design and actually designing, creating mockups, and building higher level websites. And she, again, assigned me the same task, taught me the same thing. And I learned how to look through building a website through her eyes because she was a highly skilled web designer. And when I would send over my mockups to her, she would send them back and they would have red X marks going through the entire design. Like it was just a blur of this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, you missed this, you missed this. But what it did was it taught me how to look for those little details. So this exercise is an exercise to do, and I believe that it is essential for anybody, especially in the earlier stages. But even if you've been doing this for a while, you want to sharpen up your skills, this is the way to do it. So what we're going to do here in part one, I'm getting excited now. I'm getting in the zone. All right. In part one, what we did was we set up the variables, we set up the design system. You could go back and watch that. It gets a little tedious when putting all that together. But once you put all that together, you get to the next stage, creating the high fidelity mockup. At first, it's a little bit slower building, but then all that work of putting together variables, all the styles, and then we're also going to start creating components inside of this design session. Well, you start to get into the flow, and then it just starts to go a whole lot smoother. So what I'm about to do right now, I'm just going to get in the zone. I'll keep an eye, take breaks, look at the comments, but I'm going to get in my flow. I'll go ahead and let you know exactly what I'm doing and why, but I'm not going to be talking as much. I'm going to be designing a little bit more than talking. Okay, so we already got the banner. There's a couple things. Oops. Actually, you know what? I did prepare something. Let me move that here. Let's go to downloads. To make it easier, I did prepare a screenshot to put side by side. Now, normally, whenever doing something like this, you want to make sure you have two monitors. You have to have a monitor of what you are building in Figma. Even if you're going from Figma to building out your website, you got to invest in two monitors. That is essential. But what I'm going to do is just use a screenshot to help out. I'm just going to start building the elements, creating components, and then at the end, I'm going to come back and I am going to fix the variables so that way it is matching all of the styles. In this design session, afterwards, or actually, I would say the next session, part 3, we are going to take this mock-up and we're going to turn it into our own design. We're going to keep what we built, but we're going to change the branding. We're going to change the colors, and we're going to do most of it inside of our variables. This video might be the longest one, but the next video that we do in part 3 is going to be super short. We're going to be able to create our own unique design from it very quickly because we're setting it up right from the very beginning. All right. That's it. I am diving in now. So the width is 1600. Let me make this 1600 as well, so I can see and keep it the right size. It'll help me through the build. Let me go ahead and start making some components. All right. I'm going to go over to my component page. All right, let me pull my buttons. We're probably just going to be doing buttons and cards here. And when I get an element that, looks like, hey, this would be a good component, I'll drop it in. Oops, did not mean to do that. All right, let's keep that. Cool, cool. Yeah, I'm not going to spend too much time organizing all this. I'm going to just try to go fast because I want to give myself an hour to complete this mock up. All right, we're just going to go. We got our banner. Cool. Let's get this next section, and I am going to try to match this up right now. I'm going to see if I can finish this in 1 hour. How long would this take you to do? Drop it inside of the comments. All right. So, first off, just note that when it does come to the images and graphics in this stage, we don't worry about that. We put in fillers. I always do images and graphics at the very last stage in its own process. All right. You know what? I need to get my page over so I could copy and paste some stuff. All right. Just going to copy and paste the text. Duplicate and duplicate. Now, if you're wondering why it is acting this way, it's because the entire artboard or the entire mainframe is set to auto layout. A lot of the times I'll go back and forth, turning it on and off. All right, let me make sure I got my housekeeping correct. Header, my section, banner header. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and get these. And I am going to, let's go ahead and frame it, auto layout it. I'm going to call this content wrapper. I'm going to use names that I would use like on the website. All right, let's go ahead and center align all of these. All right, let's detach this. And what do we got? Did we use something up here for it? No, we didn't get that yet. And this is going to be our subheader. And I believe I do have something for it. Let me go back here. Okay, no, it's going to be my header extra, extra small. Let me see. What size is this? All right, I think this is okay, 18 pixels. Okay, let me go back into my variables and fix that up. Let's search for my typography and look for my header extra, extra small or just extra small. You know what? I might need to use this one. What I'm going to do is duplicate this. No, I don't want to duplicate it. I don't want to create anymore. This is good enough. Okay, we'll get by with this. I'll make this one enter. Let me expand this, and it's going to be 18 pixels. And enter. And font weight 500. That looks good. All right. Cool. Let's get that color right. And that's going to be our gray. This is going to be our large title. Header large. And then this is going to be our regular text. Simple. But we're going to change the color. This is going to be, is that the same gray? Looks like it. And then this color, they're using their black color. Okay. Let's go ahead and change this with hug content. Hug content. Let's see what we got here. Yep, nothing is breaking. Let's go ahead and set up our, fix our auto layout. We'll go and give it our gap. All right, next up, let's create our pill. So this almost looks like the same size. Perfect. That makes things a whole lot easier. I gotta fix up my components. You know what? That isn't the same size. Okay, I am going to detach this instance because there's more padding on the top and bottom. Inspect. Let me see if I could find my padding here. I hope it's not 12. It's so much easier if it was just, ooh, 9 and 9. Okay, that's kind of not good. I don't really like those dimensions. They're weird numbers to me. I'm gonna go 8 and 12. Now, if I wanted to make it perfect, I would make it 9 and 9. But to me, that's just a weird number. My OCD kicks in with that. I like to have my multiples of 4. Oh, I gotta get this here. All right. All right, and Michelle has an awesome question about auto layout for sure. I'll go ahead and explain it as I do it next time. If you're using like Elementor and using the flex controls, it's going to make a lot of sense looking at it that way. But when to use it is about 90% of the time. It's a lot easier to look at when not to use it. I try to use auto layout in everything. And think about it like when you are building an Elementor site or any other site using Flexbox. Everything is using Flex in it now. That's just the best way for the web to work. And auto layout is very, very similar to Flexbox. We'll get into more of that as we are building this out. Let me go ahead and duplicate this. And okay, we'll change the text, but first we got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me change this. Actually, uh-oh. No, I don't want to log in. Let me see okay, it's just a white background with a light gray and then an even lighter gray border. So let's add a stroke. And I'm going to choose a color, this even lighter gray. Let's go ahead and give the fill, which is going to be white. And then we'll change the text. which is going to be the gray color. All right. And then I believe, what did I say there is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Duplicate. 1, 2, 3. Cool. We got 6. So featured research. Usually I don't care about the content as I am starting to build. I don't want to get hung up on content. Live data analysis. Education productivity. And then WTF. Okay, I gotcha. WTF. That's how I felt when I was looking at their code. No H tags. Okay. WTF. What's up with your code? All right. So here you go, Michelle. I'll show real quick about the auto layout and where it comes in handy. See, in the old days, we used to just go ahead and group everything together and move them over manually. But now, instead, we could go ahead and frame it. I use the short codes for frame. And then let me put on the file so we could see this actually happening here. And then I'm going to put it to auto layout. And you're going to see the gap automatically makes them have an even gap. And this is just like the gap that you would see when you are creating your layouts inside of something like Elementor. And then over here, you got your flex controls. Like, are you going to center it? And all this inside of here, are your controls. Like you can make it go down, left and right. Same thing as you would be doing inside of Elementor. Now, it does get a little bit more tricky when we're using the width. When you are using hug content and fix width for the width and height, that's where it gets a little bit tricky. You could go ahead and add padding to it too, but this is what makes it powerful right here. And this little box right here, this controls where the content is going to stick when it's being moved, when the screen is being moved. So usually you want to have it at the center top. But sometimes you want something to stick at the bottom when it's resizing for responsiveness. So then you put it here at the bottom. If we get an example later, I'll show that. For right now, let's see our gaps. It looks like a good 20 pixels, but I want to set my variable for that. Search my gap. Variable everywhere, always. Oops. Oh, and that's another thing too. When you do use auto layout, you could move things around. Okay, let's see. And now we got our cards. Right now, I am building a section. Let me do some house cleaning. All right, this frame, I'm going to call this tabs. We got our content wrapper. And also notice I always label everything. Sections are the sections. We got containers and wrappers. I'm going to label those. It just helps as we are building it all together. And now, this is fun. Let's go ahead and build these cards. I'm probably going to create a component out of it. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. Let me go over to my components and let's go ahead and create one. I'm going to auto layout this. Like, I'm not going to create a box with the shape. Back in the days, I just select R, create a box, but we're not going to do that. All right, we need an icon. Did I put icons in here yet? I don't think I did. I did. Okay, let's find one icon. So what I'm going to do is just put a filler icon. That's it. Let me see if there are any solids. Okay, they don't have any solids. Let me just find one that's a good filler. That looks cool. Okay, I'm going to take this code and let me go to my components. I'm going to drop this in. Let me just add in all my elements. I'm going to copy this. Uh-oh, I didn't mean for that to happen. I'm gonna have to right click this. I don't want to. Oh wait, no, there we go. Just I did it again. It's all good. All right. And then let's get an image. I could just take one of these images, save image, or I could copy image. Somebody else uh in last week's stream taught me something. Copying and pasting image. Oh, that didn't work the way I wanted to. No way, was it that big? Wow, okay, the image was just that big. Okay, let's go ahead and put all this here. Let me style this up. This is going to be our small text. And then we are going to align it to the left and give it the light gray. This is going to be a small header. All right, probably bigger. You know what? What size is this? Yeah, it's okay. I'll go in and fix that. Okay, it's just 18 pixels. That's all good. In fact, I could do that right now real quick like. Let's go to my small header. I'm going to make this 18 pixels. Coolio, we got that as well. Okay. And now let me fix this. And let me see. Can I fill this with black? Yes, I can. Can we put border radius here? Let's do radius full. Should make it a circle. Yeah. Okay. And then let's get the icons and turn these white. All right. Now let's go ahead and select all of them. We're going to frame it, auto layout it. Let's go ahead and give it the gaps. And I'm going to do a small gap. Is this? Yeah, it's quite small. So we'll start there. And then from here, we got to, okay, we need to fix this. So we're going to fill it. I'm going to select it to fill. Yeah, I'm not going to trip over this. All right. What is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh. Okay, card. Let's go ahead and move that in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Does it break right there? Yeah. Okay. So this one let me go fill container. And let's take a look at what we got. Okay, we're going to add some padding. First, we need to give this a box shadow. I already got my styles for box shadows. We're going to go to the card. Let's give it some padding. I am going to select my padding variables. Let me give it 20 left and right. I'll give it about 20 top and bottom as well. Or do you know what? Yeah, okay, we'll go there. That's okay for now. And then here, we're also going to fill container. That means we could open up this container. Dope. All right, so let's see here. That's where the fills really help out. Keeps everything tight inside of that container. Let's go ahead and give it a border. And it looks like it does have a bit of a background. Let me turn off my, no, not the sound. I have my color on so I could try to sleep tonight so I don't get all this blue light in my eyes. Uh, you know what? Just it doesn't look any different. So let's just go ahead and give it a fill. We'll give it, I don't even think it has that. I think just, yeah, I think it's just on one. We'll give it a stroke. And that's going to be light. We're going to give it a border radius. And that is going to be about 20. Looks like, okay. But the stroke is a little bit too dark. We're going to go with the 2. All right. And then we need to make this one smaller. And this is where these controls right here, these are like the alignments and justifications that we could set inside. I also think that this has a border radius. Yeah, it does. It has a border radius and a stroke. So the stroke is going to be, I think it's even lighter than that. And the border radius is going to be a small one, maybe 12. Okay, but there's no padding on the bottom, so let me fix that. Let's go. Actually, we're going to fix that inside of the card. And I'm going to open this up and let me put in 0. I should create, oops, no, 0. I could create a 0 for the padding. And okay, we don't need that bottom border radius. So let's open that up. And then again, for the bottoms, we're going to set these to 0. So it's going to be more flushed. And then we need to get that shade. You can see there's a bit of shade covering the content. Let's see. What's the best way to do this? You know what? I think I could get away with a gradient on this. Let me get the same color on this bottom. Let me know what you would do. Oh no, we don't want to do that. Okay, create it on this file. Let me know what you would do for this shade. There's a couple methods that I could think of. I'm going to take this color, and I am going to use my opacity and bring that down. Okay. But this, I see. Okay. In that case, I am going to, I don't want to do that. You know what we could do? I don't want to do any position absolute. So I'm going to create an inner container here inside of the card. Let me go ahead and group and auto layout this. I'm going to call this top wrapper. All right. Now for the top wrapper, I can make sure it aligns to the left. But you see, if I were to change the alignment for the whole card, the icon and this graphic goes. But I want to have separate controls. So now I can move that over without jeopardizing it. And then we also need to, I believe, the clip content. Yes, the clip content took away that shadow that was coming out from the bottom. Okay, that was a little bit of work to do all that, but now let's reap the rewards. Let's go over to our home page. Let's go ahead and drop in that component. Oh, I didn't turn it into a component yet. All right, let's create that component. We're just going to call it, let's see. Yeah, card medium. All right, we'll just do a card medium. Now back over here, go to our assets. Let's drop in the card. There we go. And we have 8 cards. So I'm just going to duplicate it 8 times. All right, let's make sure it falls it falls inside of our grid. So I'm going to open up our grid. Huh. Yeah, I kind of feel like I went too wide on this design. Hmm. Yeah, it looks a lot smaller on here. Okay. All right, it's all good. Let's go ahead and frame this, group it, auto layout it. And we're going to call this one top row. And I'm going to duplicate it. And that's going to be our bottom row. All right. And we should have, this looks like it's only about a 20 pixel. What's the gap here? Let me take a look. It only looks like it's either 20 or 24 pixels. Inspect. Yeah, the gap is only 24 pixels. So let's go ahead and set that. And we're going to probably have to adjust the layout. Hmm. All right, we're going to stick with that gap. Huh. Okay. Yes, he has all that padding on the side. That's what throws me off. Okay, I knew something was wrong. I knew it. I could see now it has just tons of padding. All right, I'm going to keep going. We could come back and adjust it when we get to it. Let's go ahead and wrap up this section. Okay, we need one more button. And this looks like it's going to be a medium button. So let me go back to my components. Let me take this, duplicate this. I am going to detach it. And we got to do something a little bit tricky here. And I try not to do tricky stuff in this stage, but I got to add this rainbow underneath the button. I got an idea for it. You know what? I'm going to do that afterwards. I think I could put a shape and blur it and put that underneath and maybe even use a clip so that way it only shows on the bottom. Yeah, maybe even like a line and then blur that line. I've never done that before, but I would like to try. Okay. So the text medium button, that's fine. Let's go ahead and make this a smaller button. It's going to be 12 pixels. Actually, that's a lot smaller. I believe the text is smaller as well. Nah, we'll keep it there. I'll use my own judgment on this one. And let me see here. Yeah, that looks more like it. And then we'll go ahead and give it the side. Padding width. We're going to put hug contents. Okay, now I am going to give this one a name. We're going to call this one button medium. All right. I need to really do better with my components. I'm just going fast right now. If I was doing this in a real design project, I would be first building out all my components and putting better thought into the names. Let's go here, drop that in. And let's copy this text, inspect. All right, now let's go ahead and auto layout all this up. So we got our top section, our filters, and let's see how it is all spaced. Okay, so we got more space in between. You know what? I'm trying to think of the best way I would build this out in the site with as the most minimal amount of divs as I possibly could. I'm going to try something right now. Let me take this down. Let's duplicate this. Wait, where's the max width at? No, 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 no. Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, we need a max width. So the max is going to be 11.5. There we go. Okay, we're going to try to do all this inside of one container instead. Let's take this to 160. Actually, delete all that. Yeah, okay. So what we're doing here is we're putting a max width. Is it a max? Where did I do that at? I'm going to delete this bottom row. We're going to focus on the top row. And I am going to duplicate this 4 more times. And there we go. Minimal amount of divs. So now we're just going to call this grid. And what I did was I used the max width, and then I set the wrap on. So you put the wrap with the max width, and it's just going to be like when we are building out grids inside of a website. Dope. Okay. That's one less div. And now let's go ahead and auto layout all of this together. And then we'll use, let me see. Okay, I could use padding because I have it there. Perfect. Let me go ahead and frame this, auto layout it. And I am going to call this one container because I always need a container to wrap all the content. And then I am going to frame it again, auto layout it. I'm going to call this one section. I'm just going to call it section. And then from here, let me see, we'll go back through, fix all of our gaps, apply. Let's go ahead and put our 20 pixel gap. And then we are going to use our padding. Since this is a frame, our tabs, we have the padding option. I'm just going to select down. Let's go here and put in our padding. And I'm going to give it an additional 20 pixels. And top, I'm going to put padding and give it an additional 40 pixels. Oops, not left, top. Give it an additional 40. So now we have that spacing. And then here as well, we need additional 20 pixels on the bottom. Let's open that up. And now our container is good. Let's go ahead and work with our sections. So for our, what was it? Okay, sections could be spaced out and pulled all the way to the end. And really quick, going back to that one question, when things move, That's what this controls. Let me open this up. Now, if this was to the left, it would stay stuck to the left as the outer frame is controlling it. If we were to stick it in the middle, now it's going to stay in between and centered. Same thing with it being top or bottom. You want to keep it, let's stick it to the bottom. Well, when we pull it, it'll stick to the bottom. So let's go ahead and center align that. Let's hug it because we're going to control it with padding, just like we would on a website. Wait. Okay. I'm good with that. Let's go ahead and give it top and bottom in the section. And I'm going to look for my section since I already got those created. This will be I'm going to give it a medium, top and bottom. And then left and right as well. All right. Yeah, we're going to have to reduce this space. So maybe up here we're not using because it is all white. We're probably going to have to adjust it. In fact, I'm going to adjust this inside of the variables. Next up, let's see here. Is this more tabs? Wow, so it's just kind of just going to replicate it then. All right, let's just duplicate this. That kind of makes it easy. In fact, let's make sure we don't have any gaps going on. Okay, oh yeah, I didn't auto layout it. All right. And then we'll just create different cards. Remove this. Let's go back here and okay, the text goes underneath the cards this time. So I'm going to go, I guess we don't need a wrapper right here. So let's go ahead and reduce, let's take that out, delete it so we don't need that extra div. Let's, oh yeah, we're going to need to throw that underneath. All right, we'll fix that up. Let's first remove this. I don't think there's a button underneath. Oh, there is. Okay. Same button. That makes it quite easy. And then let's go ahead and recreate these cards. Okay, so, all right. Okay. Is there a need? Okay, no need for a component on this one. I'm just going to design it in here. Let me actually do this. Okay, we'll get two, and then I am going to select these, and I am going to detach the instance. And okay, we have these quotation marks instead. Inspect. Can I download that? I know it's doing a hover effect when I try to get into it. Let me see if I could paste that here. I can. Oh, man. Okay, I'm going to copy this, and I am going to go here. Oops, no, not that. I'm going to go to the component and paste to replace. Go to this component, paste to replace. We could delete that now. Let's take a look what we have. Okay, the first one is just some text. Okay, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to grab some lorem ipsum for that. I'm not going to fight trying to copy it all. Let me just grab a little. And it's, oh, I got to add. Okay. And then let's get this bit here. Ooh, there we go. And we're going to go ahead and with color. Okay, that's a black color. Let's just make it solid. No, solid black. Uh-oh, that didn't happen like it should. Okay. And then we'll fix all that up. And then, okay, one more. Let's duplicate this. And this is going to be D. All right, we're going to delete that. And now, okay, okay. Let's do this. We are going to turn these into a frame and then use some padding in the background color to create that effect. So let's go ahead and frame it, auto layout it. This is going to be our top wrapper. And then we are going to give it, let's give it the background color. We're going to give it that light gray. We need to remove the padding from the card. Oh, no. Oh, wait, no. Keep the border radius. Wait, no. I'm messing the wrong thing up. Let me redo. Okay, I messed something up here. Let me go back to my top wrapper and give it a fill. Wait. Uh-oh, I messed something up. Okay, I need to auto layout this. Accidentally undid something. Let's fill it. And then for the card, we need to remove that padding. That's where I messed up. Okay, 0 and 0. And hug contents. All right. And now in the top wrapper, we're going to give it the padding. We're going to have to give padding in the top and bottom. So this bottom is also going to have to turn into an auto layout. I'm going to call this my bottom wrapper. It could also be container. Think of it like you would be building a container anyways with this. Let me turn off the clip. Ooh, it's okay. We'll give it some padding anyways. I believe we could do the same on both though. So let's see here. For individual padding, let's do 20 on the top, left and right. And then on the, okay, it's the top and then right. Okay, that looks good. Now let's go ahead and get this top wrapper. We're going to get a lot of space because we need to fill all that space up, right? Or you know what? I believe we should do Oh man, we're going to need a fixed height because these have more text to it. Okay, let's do a fixed height instead. And we could actually pull it. And we're going to have to eyeball a little bit of this. Okay, what is the height? Okay, I'm going to do 250 just to round it off. Probably even got a variable for this as well. It's going to be on my max width. Okay, no, 350 is my variable. It's okay. Uh, let's go back here and make sure everything is lining up to the top because it was centered. So we want to make sure it lines up to the top. In fact, uh, okay, it's all good. Now back over here. Wait, okay. That's what's messing up. I didn't need that wrapper, right? No, I didn't. What happens when I remove that? That's so much better. Okay. And now let's go to this bottom wrapper. And then let's go ahead and set up. We're going to need the bottom. I'm also going to make it 20. And then we need to take this gap away so it's flushed. And now we have that section. Okay, cool. We can, that text looks a little big. Was it 18? Actually, that looks to be about 18. All right. Here are the little details here. Let's go ahead and make sure we got the right color for that. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is just delete this. And I am going to duplicate that. And this time, though, I am going to put in an image. This is going to be... I knew that it's going to do that, but it's okay. Oh, okay, okay. Let's delete this content. Uh-oh, okay, so we need to fix that. And we are going to fill the container. And then this is where we're going to use Unsplash and add a filler image to it. So let that go. And I'm just going to go to, okay, it had something about gaming, which looked kind of cool. So I'm just going to add something in there. That'll look dope. Okay, now we need to get everything to stretch. Let's go to our grid. And for the height, let's see. Okay, I'm going to have to come back and fix that. But for right now, let's go ahead and duplicate, duplicate, duplicate. Let's move them around. And that's it. I'm not going to do anything else with that. We're just going to use a filler. Could come back in later and fix all the content. Let's go ahead and fix this layout because you can see it's broken with that line. You know, the blue line is cutting off the content. So let's fix that. That's going to be inside of the height. Not in the height. Okay, let's find out where that is coming from. In the container. Okay, fill content. Everything looks good now. Everything looks good. All right, we got another section done. Uh what are we looking at with time? Okay, who's still with me? Let's see. I'm checking out the comments right now. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I have not used Penpot yet. I haven't got into it. I've heard good things about it, but I just haven't. And it was hard for me to move to Figma. I won't lie. Let me go ahead and stop the screen share just for a minute. And okay, oh, it's not going normal. So I was actually a sketch user. That's where I started. Well, I started in Photoshop when I was brand new to web design. And Photoshop just is not built for web design. And if anybody is still using Photoshop or even InDesign to create mockups, please stop. Those are not tools built for it. You could do it, but you see what we're doing here using flex controls, gaps, and all that stuff. It's not built for it. But I moved over to Sketch app. In fact, that's my tattoo that I got right here. That's the Sketch app logo. And that's like my design. That's what I started on. I had such a love for it. And before Figma blew up, it was about Sketch. Sketch was the industry leader for web UI and UX design. Then Figma came out and people started moving to Figma. Now, I understood why people did at first, and that was because it was browser based. You could use it on Windows as well as desktop. But I resisted it for a while because I was really loyal to Sketch. But I was good at Sketch. I was fast. In fact, what you're seeing me do right now, I probably could do 2 times faster in Sketch. Like I could just dun, 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 I could just go really fast. That's because in Sketch, you didn't really have to think about auto layouts and you didn't have to think about using variables and using all of your styles. With Figma, though, it is a bit more advanced. And you do have to think about that. But when you do think about it and put in that work for the thought process, you're actually also looking at how you are going to build your website. And when it does come time to build it, things just start to click. And now that I've been deep inside of Figma, I couldn't see myself going to another tool that isn't using auto layout and using things like how I would use when building a website. But I would like to try with Penpot. In fact, I might do a live stream and use Penpot. I think Penpot, I've heard great things about it. I would like to check it out. Mm. Good question. The last video we did go into starting off the design system. So check out the last one. That should have a little bit more detail, helping to see how design systems are created. But I can tell you from my experience when it comes to design systems, it's a constant evolution on trying to improve them. Always looking for opportunities. Like every time I use my design system on a new project, I see ways that I could improve it. I see ways to update that system. But the thing is, it's like I always look at creating something once and reusing it over and over. And you could do that with design systems. That's the reason why I use Blueprint and I create that. But I would love to go more deeper. I'm totally fine with that. Okay, question. So, in order for auto layout to work, the content must be inside the frame first. Correct. Frame it, auto layout it. It's the only way for it to work. You turn the frame into an auto layout, and you could also turn it off, like right here. This is in auto layout. You have the option right here, this little tag where you could remove the auto layout as well. But yes, that is correct. That's how it works. Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't even try that. It just kept me in a circle. Let's see. If I show on stream, hi from that is dope. Okay, I didn't even try. I did not practice this, everyone. This just came out. I just thought that this image got it on Unsplash. It looked like Dragon Ball Z to me. Like, some Saiyan was going to a new planet. And so I put it up there. Okay, I like that. Let's see. Just checking out the questions before we get into the final session. We're going to be wrapping it up right now. Okay. How about reducing the text height? Uh, if you mean the line height, yeah, my line height is usually kind of big, and you're right. I can see that now when I'm looking. I see this. These are the details right here. You're right. I see the line height is a lot smaller right there. So I definitely can reduce that. I could do it inside of the variables. I could create something a little bit more unique. Probably I would go into my variables. This is a text small. Let's see. I'll keep this like close by so we could take a look. Oh wait, we don't have line height in variables. That's right. They don't use percentages yet. So I would actually go here to my style. I have my text small. Let's go to my settings. And this looks to be about more 150% maybe. I never would go less than that though. It's just too cramped. So this is probably a lot closer. Good catch. Good eye on it. I probably need to I definitely would need to fix, text here. I could also see this is a bit bigger. Right now, I'm just building them out, but definitely I would need to go back through everything and make changes. Make changes to my variables, make changes to my design styles, just like this, catching all those little details. Uh, After I build out the whole thing, I would go section by section and start getting really meticulous. I can't do the whole thing here, and that's only because this process takes for me, it'll take me a couple of hours. Like this is like a good coffee shop session or maybe 2 sessions, and that's just because I put a lot into the design. Like I go super detail and high fidelity, but that's what high fidelity means, and that's what professional design does. All right, let's see. Okay, I did bring it up. I don't know if you put this after or before my comments about that. 100,000%. There is a massive, massive, massive benefit to using Figma over Photoshop. Photoshop is meant for photo editing. It's not meant to organize projects, to use things like auto layout. It doesn't have the plugins we need. It doesn't have your textiles. Like everything built in Figma is built for web design and UI and UX. Well, UI design. It is built specifically for this, where Photoshop is built for photo editing. So you can't even get close to it. It is a new tool to learn, it's a new platform. But once you learn this, it'll make using any other similar web design platform pretty straightforward. Like you could go to XD, you could go to Sketch, you could go to PenPot. Any of those are going to feel very, very familiar. Where if you are trying to go from Photoshop to one of these, it's going to be completely alien because it's going to be so different. Uh, it's hard to get detailed or to see the details. And then also when you want to go to development, let's say you hand this off to a developer or you're using it in development. Well, it's hard to see, go in and actually see how much is your padding. Like you can see this is 24 left and right, 8 top and bottom. But like trying to get those exact measurements and values is going to be very difficult. And that's when designs that, it's hard because those little tiny details are the difference between what makes a design, sloppy or like amateurish versus clean. Clean and simple is very difficult to do. It takes time to learn how to do clean and simple, but it's all in the consistency, all in the little details. Okay, good question. UI is your strength, but the UX isn't. How to improve UX? You know, uh, I feel like UI design is what you're seeing visually, and the UX is more about the journey and the feeling. through it. UX encompasses different different parts outside of the design. You know, like when you really look into and break it down, like what UX really encompasses, like it has, I mean, like what's it called, the case studies, the focus groups, interviews. Like I get message now for interviews from big companies, from UX teams who just want to get feedback, because UX is all about trying to understand the end user and trying to give a good experience. And a really good way to look at good UX and bad UX, it's like, have you ever, let me get this into a bigger screen. Have you ever like needed to use support? You needed to contact. Let's say you're booking a flight or something, and something went wrong, and you needed to contact the company to get some help, but you cannot find any contact information. Like look at Google. Try to contact Google. Try to contact Facebook. Or like an airline. And then maybe even there's a chatbot, but it's some stupid AI chatbot that just throws you in circles, and you get to the point where you are like texting in it like, dude, I just want to speak to a human being. How can I talk to a human? And then it still gives you like the same stuff. It's that feeling that you get, that frustration. And that's just really bad UX. And unfortunately, very big companies don't care about good UX when they don't have to. And that's just the truth. Companies, like you could look at like an airline where they completely cut you off. You know, I've had bad experiences with a few airlines, and airlines have just got so comfortable and complacent hiding behind their terms and conditions, and putting people in situations where it doesn't matter to them. They just don't care, and so they don't really care about the user experience. Hold on to that when you have a bad experience, because by feeling it, you're going to be able to empathize, and you're going to be able to put yourself in people's shoes. So when you are designing something, think about how the person is going to feel. How are you going to take care of them and guide them through it? And that is what makes good UX. UI, this is the design side. This is creating wireframes. This is creating user flows and site maps, and then putting it all together in a really pretty mock-up. You know, but UX, that's about how you make the user feel. If you want to be a good at UX, start to empathize, start to think about the end user, and that's my best tip that I could give for this. Okay, it looks like that's the end of the question. So what I'm gonna do, because it is getting a little bit late here, I am just going to go back in the zone and wrap this up. Go ahead and put in any other questions you like. I appreciate everybody for sticking around. I know this is a long one. I do plan on doing live streams every single week going forward. We're going to be trying different things. I'm going to be doing some live projects. I got some guests that will be coming on. They'll all be, we're going to have fun and see what everybody else has fun doing. Some will be long, some won't be. But enough talking, I guess. Let's go ahead and make this we're going to make this next section, this testimonial. Okay, this one looks fun. Let's go back here. I am just going to copy what I built here. All right, let's copy that. Let's go back out. And first, let me just make sure I got my housekeeping in order. This is important to make sure everything stays nice and tidy here. Okay, we're looking good. Just don't want it to get messy, because it is so easy to get messy. All right, this makes it also super easy when we are just replicating certain parts. Community voices across industries. Copy. All right, and I kind of feel like this is text medium. Inspect. This one looks a bit smaller than what I have. I mean, it looks like it should be bigger. Font size 20 pixels where the text medium isn't. Let's see. What is my text large? Okay, this should be text large. Let's fix this one as well. This should be text large. Yeah, much better. That looks right. And I believe this one is, for some reason, really small. Yeah, it's like a disclaimer. This is going to be smaller. And also, we need to fix this bottom padding. All right. I think the top has too much as well. No, 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 no. Let's keep the 40. All right, I could go through all that and fine tune it afterwards. But I think you guys kind of see what we're doing here. Okay, now for this, I am going to, yeah, I'm going to create a, I'm going to create a component for this. Just, it'll make it easier, I think. Oh, you know what though? Let's go here. I'm going to take my icon. Let's copy that. Let's go to our components, and my components are messy right now. I might have to do, oh no, I did not want to do that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to try to do this now in less than 30 minutes. That's my goal. So I'm going to go rapid at this point. Okay, and then we got text. And, oh, perfect. Okay. And I'm just going to use some lorem ipsum for this. Click off this ad. We don't need an ad. Let me grab a good amount of text. This might be a little bit too much. Okay, I'm going to drag this over here. And okay, it looks like we got the medium text. So let's give that medium text. Perfect. Let's go ahead and decrease the size. We'll do this one a bit manually. Okay. Yeah, that looks like a good amount of text. And now we need to make a container for these, because that's what I would do if I was building this out in Elementor. In fact, I would make one container and then another one. Or in Bricks, I would be using my div. So first, let me do an oval. Let me see, what is this size? I'm just going to guess. This looks about 20. It's 48 pixels. Okay, well, it's bigger than what I thought it was. So let's give this 48, connect it, do 48, and then I'm going to go to my favorite plugin. And this is another thing you cannot do inside of Photoshop for sure. I mean, yeah, it's for photo, but you can't just plug this in. I'm going to put in profile and then just look for somebody's picture to put in. All right. And now we need to put in two more pieces. Okay. I'm going to put in her name, Heather Jacobs. And then let's duplicate this, move this down. Okay, we're just going to take this. All right, and let's go ahead and match the style. So this is going to be a button text because my buttons are a little bit darker already. And I'm going to put in, yep. And then for this one, we're going to use a text small. We're going to change this color. It's going to be the light gray, where this one is going to stay the black. I'm also going to make this one black. Connect that right there. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and group this. Let's auto layout it. And this I am going to call, let me see. user user info container. I'll just call it user info. I don't need to name a container, but this is going to be my container here. Okay, I'm going to auto layout this. It's going to be user container. And I believe I spelled this wrong. I think I spelled something else wrong too. I saw it in the other one. Okay, let's go ahead and set this up for my gap. Okay, 4 pixels is great, but I want to use I want to make sure that I am using my variables for everything, especially when it comes to using gaps, because that's a very important part of the design process. Okay, and now we got this, this, and this. We'll auto layout that. And I'm going to call this one inner container. Oh, wait, the inner container was supposed to be part of this. Okay, let's undo that. Yeah, we didn't need that extra div. We want to get all these inside of a container. All right, there we go. Inner container. We might even be able to call this card. I don't even think we need that, huh? Okay, let's call this testimonial card. And you might notice, everyone, you see me typing. I'm doing this live. I mistype a lot. Like to me, this stuff does not come easy. So if anybody feels like you got to be naturally like just talented with all these things to do this, you don't. You just got to be obsessive. Even if you're a bit dyslexic like me, if you got a bit of OCD like me, you just got to like really be obsessive with it. That is the key to all this. Okay, this one, let's go ahead and we're going to hug the container, bring that in. Okay, that should not be sticking out still. No, hug contents. Something is still poking out. Let's see if we could find it. And it might be the entire card. It is. Okay. Want to make sure we get everything wrapped up nice in there. All right. Let's see. What else? What else? We need more space right here. I want to put in more space. Okay, and we could go here to the user container since I do have that, and I could put in my top. I'm going to give this some padding, about 40 pixels. And then let's go ahead and give all this some padding, 20 pixels on all of them. Left, right, top, and bottom. Let's go here, padding. And then let's give it a background color. We're going to give it a fill. And this one is going to be, you know what? They're using a different color here. We should have this in our color palette. If we don't, we need to fix that. We don't. Okay, let's fix that real quick because I do need to have the right color palette. It's not going to be in our accent. And the natural, this has been our primary, so it's really not natural. Let's go ahead and let's take this, duplicate it. And I'm going to call this 150. And let's see, I do have, see if I could get that color from my color picker. All right. Copy that. Let's go back over. Okay. I probably would fix that though on a real project. I'm not thrilled about it. This is looking a lot bigger. Okay. I'll have to figure that one out. Actually, I know what to do about that. I'll show you what I'll do about that. I'm going to use our grids, which I should have done on the other ones. Okay. For the background, let's go back and there we go. Wow, that color still does not look right, does it? Let me go back here. Just make sure I got it right. It doesn't look right to me. Okay, I guess that is it. Let me make sure there's no okay, there is a border on it. So let's give it a border, stroke, and we will give it a little bit darker. That's all. And let's go ahead and give it a border radius. Yeah. We'll give it 20 pixels. All right. And this is looking good, except for this part here. I want to close this gap. So let me go back, click on that. And we need to fix a gap, maybe 12 pixels. No, just click on this. Yeah, that looks a lot better. Okay, let's go ahead and turn this into a component. Let's go back over to our design. All right, and then I'll drop it in. And now I'm going to use my grid because I wasn't feeling good about this. So, all right, you got 1, 2, 3. Oh, but this is going for the whole screen. Okay, okay. It's all good. We don't need to worry about that. No. Okay, let's just leave it as it is. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're going to do 5. This is where we're going to get a little interesting right here. Let me go ahead and go to File. I love this stuff. Okay, we're going to group this. Frame it, auto layout it. I'm going to call this my testimonial grid. All right, let's make sure we got the right variable connected for our gap. We're going to use this 20 pixel. And let's go ahead and center this. And then let's go here to fill. We're going to use, oh wait, no. That's not what I wanted to do. You know what? I am just going to do a shortcut. Oh wait. Okay. Check it out. I'm using a rectangle, but I'm going to take this rectangle and position absolute. Going to make sure I cover the whole thing. And I'm going to give this a name. I'm going to call this shade. And on this, I'm going to go to my grid. Let's go ahead and put in center. I'm going to have to, okay, that's good. And on the sides, we are going to give it the white color. Let's make sure we are choosing our variables. All right. Center as well. We're going to select on. You want to make it the same color as the background, whatever that background is. All right. And now let's go here to the center and we are going to detach it and turn this to 0. And now with these, we're just going to pull them out a little bit. Or we could bring it. Actually, it kind of looked good when it was brought in. All right, I'm good with that. Let's make sure this covers the whole screen. And this is in the testimonial grid. So let's see. Okay, we got our testimonials. Let's go ahead and group this, auto layout it. We're going to call this one. You know what? We don't need an inner container for this one. I wouldn't if I was building the site. That's one less div. So I'm just going to call this section. You know, I could probably also just label it test. Okay. And then we could go ahead and give it some top and bottom padding. We don't need any left and right because this is something that's going to be full width. So I'll just go up here to my sections and then I would choose something small. Okay, I know there's a lot of spacing. I'll have to fix that up later. All right, let's keep going. This is super easy to do. Let me see. All right, I'll just copy this, paste here, delete that. Let's copy this. Okay, I could just type that in. All right, that's good. Let's see. Now I'm just going to I'm not going to do any components right now. I am going to turn on my grid though, and then make a shape. And we're going to use 3. This is going to be the small grid. Okay. So we'll do 3, duplicate, duplicate. Oh, wait, no. All right, my math is not working great right now. I don't like that. Why do I feel like I'm breaking the grid right now? I can't do that. I can't break the grid. Okay. I'll fix that in a moment. Let me first get all this. No border radius, right? I got to go faster. All right, I'm overthinking. Wait, no, not fill. Stroke. And then we have our neutral. Let's go to our border radius. At 20, let's go ahead and use our plugins. Unsplash a cartoon. Oh, that Doomsday. I got to go with Doomsday. All right. I mean, I could probably take it, download it from here, but yeah. Let's go ahead and 1, 2, delete those. Duplicate, duplicate. Okay. Let's see for our grid. Oh, wait, we don't have those set up in auto layout yet. I'm not going to do the auto layout yet. Okay. Instead, let's go ahead and put these. All right. And then what? June 3rd, 2025, duplicate. 2025. Okay, let's go ahead and set these up. This is like a medium button size. And this is going to be a small text. Okay, and we're going to make this the gray, and this is going to be the dark text color. All right, now this right here, we are going to group it, auto layout, or frame it, auto layout it. Let's go ahead and, okay, it's going to be a tight gap. So let's go here to our gaps, and I'm going to say it's going to probably be an 8-pixel gap. Now I could go ahead and delete those. Let's duplicate this, duplicate, and let's go ahead and frame it, auto layout it. Let's give it the variables. This is going to be the gap 20 pixel. I'm going to fix all my gaps though, because I noticed something inside of them. We're using 24 base. Oops. So I want to fix them all to 24 base. All right. Now, one thing I don't like and what was bothering me, and I know I'm going to have to fix, is this needs to fit in the grid. It's not fitting in there. Like it should fit right in here. So I need to fix these so they do fit inside of the grid. But for right now, I'm just going to go wrap it and we can come back to all these. Let's set them up. Okay, this is going to be the events row. And then we have the content wrapper. And I believe that's it for this. Oh, and a button. Let's go ahead and copy one of these buttons. Copy that. Paste that here. What's in the text? Explore more events. Oops, no, we didn't need to do that. Okay, now let's go ahead and frame it, auto layout it. This is going to be, again, I don't see a need for inner container. I can make this section events. Okay, we do need to center this. And then let's go ahead and give it the top and bottom, left and right. So we'll go section. This is going to be a small section. Left and right, top and bottom, section. Okay. And everything else fine. Everything else good. Okay. Let's go to the next one. And what else do we got here? So, okay. And these we could just do with graphics. I mean, I could design these inside of Figma, but we're running out of time. Let's see. Yeah, it's going to take a bit. Let's inspect element here. All right. Copy element. Let's see. Can we paste this here? No. No, it's not letting me do that. Okay. Inspect. Ooh. Um, let's see now. Can I paste that? We can. Will it expand though? That's the question. Oh, this is a heavy element. Look at that. My laptop is struggling. I got an M4 Max beefed up and is struggling with this. That's how heavy this one is. This must be so code heavy. Ooh, I have never seen this happen before. This is the first time I have ever gotten this screen. Wow. Wow, that was too much for it. I got a beast of a laptop. Okay, let's see if I could do that one more time. Okay, I'm going to lock it. I'm just going to lock it. Okay, nothing changed on it. Let's see here. Okay. All right. Okay. Uh-oh. I left this on the whole time. I am so sorry. I can't believe this is on the whole time. Did anybody say anything for this? Okay, before I continue, and even if I continue, it's getting a bit long. I am first going to take a little break and catch up with the comments and the questions because I do see some good questions here. And apologies for keeping that last question pinned. Stacy. Okay, Stacy, what's going on? Stacy, how you doing? So good to see you here. See you here. All right. Stacy asks, do you do this for every website and for every client? And is this given to each client as the overall layout? Can you explain why this is important? My answer is yes. I do this for every project. Sometimes it is for the client. Sometimes it is just for me. I do this because it allows me to make those changes and to see what I want to build before I actually build it. Now, if I'm going to do it just for me without the client, I'm going to go a little bit faster. It's not going to be as meticulous, but it's going to be close. If it is for the client, I'm going to get more detail. But the reason why I would do it for a client, and I do just for about all projects, unless if the budget is really low, present this to the client because I want to get the client to sign off on the design before I build. It is really important because I am very clear with the client, like we'll go through the design, we'll fine tune it, we'll get it right. But once the design is done, that's it. This is what you're going to get. This is how the website is going to look. And especially as somebody, owning an agency and moving up, you're going to eventually hire people. You're going to bring in other developers, maybe even other designers. Now, if you want to bring in another developer, the best way to ensure that developer delivers exactly what you want them to build is a high fidelity mockup, especially when you have all the values inside of it. The developer could go in, there's the more you're using those variables and really creating the styles and making sure you get all those details, it's a less guessing that developer needs to do. They could go in and they could build everything right from the very beginning. So yeah, that's my answer. I do this on all projects, and I do this as well because I was taught to do this from the very beginning when I started building websites. My first mentor, he was a developer, he was a coder. He wasn't really a designer, but he taught me always to make a mock-up first before you start to build, because that way you're building with something. You're building with at least a sketch. It's only very few people in this world who are born with the ability to envision something and create exactly what they are envisioning. Those are like the best artists of all times could do stuff like that. But most people, we need to have like sketches. We need to have something that we could use when we are building to make sure it at least comes very close to what we are imagining. And inside of something like Figma, it takes time for this extra step of the process, but it makes the development go a lot faster. Is this charged to the client? I charge. Oh yeah, I definitely charge. I create mockups and just charge for the mockup. A lot of times, a landing page. A client needs a new landing page. It's like, okay, well, I'll design a landing page, and here's how much it is. Back then it was starting at $1,000 for a landing page, but it would be a high fidelity mockup. It's well thought through, is thought out, and then the building part is a lot easier once you get it done, as long as you design it in a way that isn't difficult to build. That's the advantage of being a designer and a developer. You kind of know, like, hey, I'm going to design this in a way that makes it easy for me to build. No sense in making anything overly complicated. All right. I'm just going to go through the questions. Mm. Please make a Figma Elementor tutorial. 100%. Absolutely. They are coming. A lot of them. So we're going to be doing a lot of Elementor to Figma to Elementor, as well as Figma to bricks too. So we do got a lot of those coming up for sure. That's a good question, and I'm guessing this is from the rectangle that I put over the element. Uh sometimes it is up to the developer to kind of see what it is. I try my best to make it so they don't have to guess. Now, I do have some opacity variables that I try to use. I just didn't see myself able to use the opacity in that situation. Now, if it were handing it off to the developer could use the values in that shade. I mean, we use the rectangle tool for it, but in that rectangle we had the gradient overlay, and we just treat it like a gradient overlay, except we need three parts to it, where we have a bit of we have 100%, I mean 0% opacity in the middle, and then lighter opacities on the side. Dude, I got the picture. We're doing it. I love the enthusiasm. Definitely, we're gonna do it. I think I got a plan. I got a plan. We got a plan. Okay. Uh, this is all part of the plan right now. I might even build this in a tutorial. This is all part of the plan. We're doing more. You guys know my philosophy. All right. I talk about it all the time. Master one thing at a time. Master it, get really good at it, and move on and master another. That is how I followed my whole career. One of the reasons why I want to do these live streams every single week is I myself am mastering this, not the design side. Like, I could throw on some. I like to design with gangster rap. That's my vibe. I just throw on some like Griselda, and I just get in the zone. And I could go to a coffee shop. Like, I've been in airports and just crush designs in there. I just get in the flow and I just go. But being able to do this live and teach it and show it is a whole other thing. It's a whole other game. And I want to master this. I want to get better at it. You're going to see a lot more content coming out from me. I've made changes inside of my life to help me out with this, to give me more energy. Like right now, if you would see what my diet is like and my fitness routine is like, it's like all these things are to help me get more healthy, but also so that way I got more energy, more focus, and that way I could show up every single week doing these so I could master them because I want to master this right here. That's my focus. So we're going to be doing a lot more of these live streams, but I am working my way to doing the Figma to actual build processes, taking everybody through the entire process, but doing it in a way that is streamlined, easy to follow, less filling talking, I guess you could say. I could chatter like I am right now. So I am working at it. I am working at it. Let's see how much more do we have to do. I'm going to determine how much we should actually do to complete this. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to build this out right now. I am not going to build these though, but I will come to this and I'm going to build this out. This is going to be challenging. Not challenging, but I don't know. I kind of feel like I should also do this like in another live stream. It's a lot, you know. It is a lot to do, especially when talking all right, let's move forward. I'm going to crush this right now. I am going to build this. I'm just going to finish this up. We're going to go ahead and put this little card here, and I'm going to try to go really fast with it. I'm not going to worry about too many details. I'm not even going to talk that much. And then I'm going to create this price card really quick. Let's do this. All right. Copy that. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's go ahead and group. Auto layout that. All right. Just going to call the container for now because I know that SVG is like crazy heavy. Let's go ahead and at least set our gap. All right, we'll do that. And I know okay, here's where we could do the opacity. Can I do the opacity? No, I can't do that here. Okay. Okay, let's do this. Because it does have some shade at the very top. All right. White. Will that even work? Nah, I'm not going to stress over this right now. All right, let's just get our little blue dots out. Let me go ahead and lock this map again. No, not the container. The map. All right, oval. Oops. And we got to go back to the map. And we're going to set this up for position absolute. Lock it again. Oval. Let's go ahead and give it the color. We already have a color for this. And I'm going to throw a little radar on it. Let's give it that radar effect. Let's duplicate that. Okay, maybe 16. I'm going to put shade. Make sure to label these. Let's go ahead and move that up. And then in the shade, this is where I could put my opacity. So I have that already. I'm going to give it an opacity of not 10, maybe 20. Okay, good enough. And then we're going to call this radar. Okay, we'll put, how big are these? 10 pixels, huh? All right, that's okay. Let's go ahead and drop in a couple. We'll move them all around. All right. There we go. Let's go ahead and create one of these cards. Hey. All right, let me do unsplash. And I'm just going to put in, I should have put in, oh no, okay, that's fine. Okay, then we got name. I'm not even going to copy and paste. Name goes here. And then we got dates. June 23rd, 2025. And then we have location. All right, London. And then we got to get our icons out. So we do got an icon library. Let me see. Let's search for them. Location. Okay, now map. Awesome. So we got one for the map. And then which one is this? Okay, time. You know, I'm just going to use this one. We don't need to get the icons right now. Oops. Okay. I'm going to show a little trick for that. But first, let's go ahead and set our styles. This is going to be button small. No, it should be extra small. Okay. For these, we are going to make them our gray color. And then these are going to be very small text. Text extra small. And in fact, this probably should be just a small. Okay, and now this, we also need to make gray. And then let's go and, okay, we need to detach this from an instance. Because if we shrink it, you see it gets all weird. Like it maintains the 2 pixels border. So in order to keep it this where it's at, you're going to outline the stroke. And now it's going to adjust like so. And then we'll do the same thing here. Detach instance. Go ahead and change the text color. And then outline stroke. And then make it smaller. And this one looks... Oy. All right, anyways. Let's go back over here. We need to pull it out of its frame. It doesn't need the frame. Same thing with this one. That's just going to mess it up. All right, this is going to be my map, my clock. And then this is where okay, let's go ahead and auto layout it. All right, date. And then let's give it a gap of... All right, we'll do the same thing here. Oh, no, not save. Auto layout. This is going to be our location. And then we're going to give it a gap of same thing. The small gap. Okay, what just happened here? Oh, no, section. I didn't want a section. Okay. This is what, 119? I feel like... Oh, no way. Okay. 240. All right. So this is 240. And let's make it 150. Okay, that looks a lot better. And I'm going to auto layout this, and we're going to call this the meta. All right, and now we could go ahead and turn all this into a card. Let's go to auto layout it. We're going to call this map card. You could turn it into a component. It's all good. I'm just going to leave it at that. Let's go to variables. We are going to do gap, and I'm going to put this at an 8. Now, let's see here. We got some padding. So let's get... Looks like only 12 pixels. I'm going to give it 16. Let me see how that looks. Padding, 16 pixels. And let's fill it. And I'm going to fill it with white color. And we're going to give it a box shadow, border radius, and then box shadow. So let's go here to radius. And we'll give it 12. And then for the effects, I already got some created here. Let's give it a medium. Let's give this border radius as well. All right, we'll give it 12 pixels. Actually, that's too much. Let's give it 8. Yeah, that's a lot better. Okay, something happened here. Oh. Why didn't that work? Okay, that's weird. Oh, why is that a position absolute? That shouldn't be there. Delete that. Okay. Let's go back to meta. Yeah, these icons, they did something weird, but it's okay. We're not tripping on icons right now. Those all get changed at a different stage in the process. We'll put 12. And now we got our cards. All right. This one has too much border radius. Wait. That's why. Radius. There we go. That looks better. So we got our cards. We got our section. Let's go ahead and now... All right, let's... Remember what I said We auto layout everything and very few times we don't. This is one of those situations we probably wouldn't. I am just going to group this one and we're just going to call this radar group. Probably could think of a better way of doing it, but map card. Where is that background? Okay, it's there. Okay, I am just going to auto layout that. Okay, I'm good with that. And we're going to call this one, okay, this one is going to be container. Wait, do we need a container? Yeah, I think so. And first we need to fix it because that map is sticking out. It's not going the way it should go. Okay, it looks like the map could be bigger, but this container, oh, that's because the map is locked. Let's unlock it and see now if it respects it. Okay, the container. Okay, it's acting weird. Hug content. All right, I need to fix it. Something in here is acting funny. I think it's this radar group. Okay, content wrapper, map, and radar group. Oh, wait, where's that card at? Oh. Oh, no. Okay, let's see here. Oh my God, there's so many vectors in this. Okay, let's keep that closed. Wow, I'm trying to figure out where this went wrong. Okay, this is position absolute. That's fine. Radar group. This should also be position absolute too. So we can move that around wherever we want to move it around. Was that it? I think that was it. I think I just found it. And container. Okay. I think because all these are position absolutes. Yeah, that's why. These are all position absolutes. So it's not going to respect it. So you know what? I'm going to do? This actually should be wrapping inside of here. I am going to auto layout it again. And I'm going to create my section. Oh, wait, no, that wasn't supposed to happen. Okay, yeah, this should be my section. The container wraps everything inside, but it's only wrapping, let's see, but the section I could stretch it all the way out. The container. Whoa, okay. Something's with this map. That's right. It's on position absolute. There we go. All right. That's what we need to do on this. Okay. All right. And then in the section, we could go ahead and add our padding. Section. We're going to do medium on this one, left and right. And then top and bottom section. And then for the height, yeah, it's not going to because those are at position absolute. Okay. All right, we got that there. I'm going to do one more section because I am trailing off right now. This is now getting to my bedtime. I'm usually out by this time, but okay, let's do it. Copy that. Paste here. This is going to be my pricing. No. Oh, wait. Okay, let's go down and I'm going to wrap it up with this pricing section. We need to create this pill. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to I'm going to try to do this all with auto layout. So monthly and annually. So I'm going to type this out monthly. And let's give it a text. We're going to give it a small button. Okay, let's duplicate that and annually. What is it? 17%? What did they say? Save 17%. Okay, this is going to be the gray color. This is going to be black, but then we got to do some inline on it. Let's go here. Save 17. This is going to be our blue color. Okay, this is going to be interesting. It looks fun. Okay, let's go ahead and group auto layout. And let's give it a fill so we could see it. No, not that color. This color. And we need to give it a border or a stroke. And it is going to be slight darker. I kind of feel like this is even smaller. Yeah, okay. And then we're going to do the same thing here. Let's go ahead and frame this, auto layout it. Let's give it a fill. It's going to be the white color. It's kind of hard to see, but now what I'm going to do is Change my fill to the whole thing. This is going to be white. And then down here, I already know what it is. It's E D E D E D. I already looked at that the last one. So it does get a little bit darker the further down you go. And make sure it's going all the way to the end. Yes. All right, that makes a big difference because now we can see it better. Let's first make this pill, and we are going to, let's say, padding top, maybe 4 pixels, and right or left, maybe 12. And let's give it a border radius. It looks like maybe about just 4 pixels border radius. Forward to, yeah, that's fine. And then we'll do the same thing for here. It's got to have a same border radius. It's going to be 4. Let's go ahead and give it a padding. We're going to make the padding a little bit bigger. Padding is going to be 8. And then padding is going to be, we'll keep it the same, 12. Okay, we'll pull this out, but we'll make it align to the left. And now we have our switcher. For this one, I am going to just create a group. I don't see a need for it to be an auto layout. And there we go. We got our switcher group. Now let's go ahead and create our cards. Ooh, they did not make these cards too easy, did they? All right, let's just go ahead and drop in the elements. Oops, not that. Text, all right, free. All right, I'm just going to duplicate beta. Let's duplicate again. And I'm going to duplicate a few times. All right. What? Yeah, their code is not that good. 0 and actually, yeah, let's duplicate this again. Month, that's good. All right. We could drop in a button here. Let's go to the assets and go ahead. Components. So, okay, we did get a button, but yeah, let's go ahead and detach this. There we go. Let's go ahead and they got icons as well. All right, let's go to icons and do we have a check? We do have a check. I'm going to detach this instance. I don't want to fight with it. Back over to files. Let's call this check and let's take this out of its frame. Oops. Now I could put it right here and okay, it looks like it does have a little bit of a lighter color. And yeah, we'll keep that there. Let me see. Yeah, I'm going to auto layout this. Oops. And check item. We're going to be reusing this. What else do we have? And we got 1, 2. Okay, few more checked items. And we'll first set this up. So it is going to be small text. And the color is going to be the gray. Same thing with this. Okay, we got the gray color. Let's go ahead and duplicate it a few times. Now, I'm not going to worry about the different icons. Ooh, we got some AI stuff popping up. I can't wait to play with that. Let's go ahead and group and auto layout. This is going to be a card list. And then, oh, I forgot to do this. Variables, gap. Okay, I have to delete this. Nope. There we go. Okay. Variables, gap. Let's go. 12 is good. Okay, let's style this up, create our cards, and then we'll duplicate it. And then that is going to be a wrap. So this actually looks like it's a unique font that they did here. So I'm going to go over here to my headers, header extra small. And I'm going to detach this because I could tell the font weight is something different, but I'm not going to go too deep into that. Okay, let's create this beta. This beta is going to be, okay, extra small. Yeah, that's fine. Let's go ahead and auto layout it. I'm going to call this beta tag. We're going to change the color of it to a light gray. And then let's take a look. We just have a little bit of a bubble, but it, doesn't have a border radius on the bottom left. So let's go give it a padding first. It's just an outline, right? Yeah, that's it. Just an outline. Actually, let's give it the stroke. All right, let's go ahead and give it a little bit of padding. This is left and right. We'll give a 4, and I'll give it 2 on this one. And is that enough? Yep, that's more than enough. Let's give it the radius. We're going to give a full. Full and then full. Huh, okay, and we need to give more padding. Okay, maybe full is too much, so let's go back. Let me see what happens when I just give it 8. Might have to play around with this. Okay, just a little bit more. Maybe the 20. That might be too much. Okay, 12 it is. Okay, we got it. Now we could put it here. All right, we'll go ahead and select both of those, auto layout it. We're going to call these name, group, and then we're going to do the price. This is going to be a big text. So let's go to the header. We're going to go to a small one, and this one's going to be normal text. And let's go ahead and auto layout it. I'm going to call this one price. And I'm going to put 0 gap on it, and we need to align this to the bottom. All right, then we got our thing, current plan. And that's it. Let's go ahead and select all of them, auto layout it, and we're going to call this one, I'm just going to call the card, price card. And for this one, we are going to, we're going to make all of them white. So let's first give it some padding. I'm going to do 20 pixels, top and bottom, left and right. And border radius, let's see here. Oops, radius, we'll give it 12 pixels. Okay, and I think this button we need to make bigger. And let's go ahead and with hug content. All right, let's go ahead and duplicate this now a few times. Let me pull out my grids to help me out with it. We have how many? 4. Okay. There we go. That fits within the grid. Now we could duplicate. Duplicate, duplicate. Awesome. Let's go ahead and turn off these grids. I'm going to go back over here. And now we're just going to make some changes. I could see that the text here is a little bit lighter than these and everything else is darker. So this text is going to be this lighter shade. So is that. That's going to be the lighter shade, where this is going to be straight black. Oops, no, right here. Same thing with the button, the call to action. And then the text. And then wait, we need to add some spacing though too. We don't have any spacing, do we? Okay. Top is going to be about good 20 pixels. There we go. Let me do that as well here because I'm going to duplicate that. Padding 20 pixels. Let's take a look what we got. Okay. Okay, duplicate that. And let's give it a price, $16 a month. Delete, delete. Oh, that's right, it wasn't. Okay. And now the only thing that needs to be changed is going in and changing just the text. On some of them, adding underlines. You could go through and change the icons, but it's all built out. All right, let's go Basic plus Pro. And let's go ahead and auto layout this. We're going to call this card row. Let's go ahead and give it the 24 pixel gap. And it should stretch right out to the lines underneath it. And then let's go ahead and do both of these. We're going to frame this. I'm just going to label this a section. I don't see a need. Well, you know what? No, we're going to do container. because I can see this being used. Section pricing. All right, let's go ahead and stretch it all the way out. We'll center it up. Let's go in and fix our flex controls on the inside. All right, you can center those up and to the top. And this one right here, you could actually take it all the way down. And now for the section, we could go ahead and give it some padding. Let's go section, find our values. I'm going to go with the medium again, left and right. Same thing for top and bottom. There, we got it all set. And now we could go up here and auto layout this. All right, make sure we put 0 on the gap. Now we could start to, we could start to move things around here. This is another reason why auto layout is powerful, but this is what we got. So there's our design. Okay, I need to fix that. That something came out wrong right here. And I think I know what it is. Let's go back and see. Okay, I'm not thrilled about that. Oh, I know why. We changed that background. That's why. Huh. You know what? Let me see if I could find another solution for this. Huh. Yeah. Okay, it's a bit late right now. I am going to stop the screen share. I'm going to move this over here, my other screen. Okay, that was perhaps my longest stream. I knew this one was going to be long. I had a feeling because it's detailed, and when you start to get into Figma, it is detailed, and especially when you're late at night geeking out like I do, this is what we get. So let me go ahead and just check out some comments, see if we have any questions. After that, we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Now, coming up next week, what we are going to do is take this, what we have, and we're going to make some changes to the typography, to the branding, to some of the colors, and just a little bit of the layout. And we're going to do it very quickly in like 30 minutes. I'm going to time it like a 30-minute sprint. And we are going to do and use all those variables and global styles that we spend so much time connecting and making sure that we're trying to follow all the best practices, using them. We're going to see how we could control those styles and how that could make basically your own design. Okay, let me see. Are there any questions before we move on? Abdullah, hey, what is going on? Awesome. I see the pro communities in the house. So we got a question from Turbo Toaster. Hey, Jeffrey, would you recommend coding a website from scratch or just use Elementor? That is a good question. It depends what you want to create and who is it for and what are you charging and what is your skill set. Now, I think it is important for everybody creating websites as their expertise, as your main part of your business. Like if your business is to build websites, you should know how to code a website out by HTML and CSS. I don't think you have to know like complex JavaScript, PHP. It's great to know it, and it's a great skill to have. But bare minimum, even if you're designing, even if you're just a designer creating Figma mockups, XD mockups, whatever tool you're using, you should know HTML and CSS. Now, this practice that I did where we're basically replicating a site uh, into Figma, when I first started off doing this, I was taught to code it from scratch, just HTML and CSS. You'll be surprised how much you learn when you do that. Just trying to create the header alone in just pure HTML and CSS, you're going to learn a lot. You're going to have to learn how to ask the right questions in Google, to search for the right solutions. And it's the best way to learn. I feel you could take tons of courses, but it's when you actually put this into action when you really do learn. So if you do know how to code and you do know Elementor, it's going to be totally up to you. I have been really impressed seeing what people are doing coding websites lately. I've been following some channels where they're using just like Next.js and other frameworks and Tailwind and building sites out like that. And I wish I had a lot more time because I want to go in and start learning some of this as well. It makes me want to learn and start to pick up the development side again. But now with the tools that we have, with the whole vibe coding and our AI tools, I have a feeling we're going to start to see a lot more hand coded websites. I got a buddy of mine who just created his own website, and he did everything with Next.js, with Tailwind. He has it on Vercel. And it's amazing what he built just using some AI tools. He was using Bolts and Replit and created an amazing site and did it in probably the same amount of time you would build a site out in Elementor. So I have a feeling we are going to be seeing that inside of the near future. But right now, nothing wrong with also just building sites out with Elementor if that is right for your client. At the end of the day, you got to like also look at what is right for the client. Because I know there's a lot of people who don't want to break out of WordPress, but you get a client who wants a good e-commerce store, is a serious e-commerce business. WooCommerce is not the best to use for most e-commerce websites. My agency specialized in e-commerce. We did a lot of the WooCommerce, and I would rather go to Shopify for most of my clients because it was just best for their business. It was in their best interest. So it's not about what is best for us, it's what is best for our clients. And that is the best way I could answer that question. Well, I don't see any other questions in here. So it's a late night here. I'm going to get some sleep and I am going to prepare for the next one. We got one more session. After that, we're going to be doing something completely different, but I love to hear your feedback. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate you for being part of this. Catch you next time.